what happened was all the old material that I loved, and I'm still doing this stuff from 1975 and onwards, became fresh with a different instrumentation, where it really, it was just a slight change, but it helped me float until I got to the big kahuna, which was Wrecking Ball.
But what you just said about going back to bluegrass school, you probably don't remember it, but when you came over to sing on Trainacommon that one day, you said, you saw what we were doing, and you said, every once in a while we got to go back to bluegrass school.
I saw
immediately what was going on, and that kind of blows my mind. I also, the Wrecking Ball happens, that's almost exactly at the same time, and I just said, we might as well talk about this while we're talking about going through these. We have to do this. There've been a lot of versions of my band, the Digs, and I'm finally got to the point where, Kelly Linney passed away in 2019, we've been there since 1988, so it's completely turned over now, but I sort of watched, Wrecking Ball happen, and that band started that tour that went on forever. And because I celebrated my 40th birthday, because you asked me to come over, you heard Goodbye,
right,
and decided to record it, and I came over to play on it, and I ended up, I think the original idea that Daniel and Lon had, was for the writers that if they were around to come in and play on the tracks they wrote. And so Lou was invited, Lucinda came to play on Sweet Old World, and I ended up playing on that too. I ended up playing there on 2 or 3 things, over a couple of days. And had my 40th birthday there, and I got a birthday cake and everything. But,
and now Emmylou's version.
Yeah, it's that's 40. That was.
But really, when I think about it, how extraordinary, I was 3 chords, playing every Joan Baez cover I could at 16, and then to end up with the great musicians.
Right.
That original band, and then Albert comes along with, because it was like, this is great, we've got James Burton, but it's unbelievable. What are we going to do? And literally just right there, stepped in, and not only replaced James, but because their styles were so different.
Right.
They were great in their completely different styles. And to have that and be able to have the band, go forward and continue.
Influence, almost
really,
everybody that was playing Venable country.
It's like pinch me, please.
And Albert had the best comedy tapes in all the
that's
music.
true. Because the
Derek
stuff.
and Clive, this is a Derek and Clive.
That's right. Yeah. Because, it's not just about what happens on stage, but you're constantly with these people on the bus.
Yeah.
And to have the humor, of course, I was lucky to have Phil for so many of those tours, keeping us all honest and not getting above our raisin.
Yeah,
You better not get too much of a big ahead, Miss Harris.
I had to use a cattle prod on that too. The first time we arrived in England,
Yeah.
Phil was hiding out in England. This was
Right, after Graham died, yeah.
So we go to England the first time, and Phil meets us at the airport on a Harley. We get escorted into the heart of London.
not easy to find anymore.
There was a World War II army bike that had been left over in England, and I hopped on it and went to the airport to give him a good welcome.
Who needs a ticker tape parade when you've got Phil Kaufman?
Yeah. Well, I think that's when Emery wanted me to hire you as his valet, when he said that was his one condition for going on the road. What he talked about was the fact that it was just kind of hard to be bummed out around you, and that you were just to keep the morale high. Because you are pretty fucking funny.
What kind of funny?
Phil has the talent that, sometimes on the shows, there may be too many record company executives. There's so much going on, and you're getting ready for a show, and you want to be polite, but basically you need people to leave. And Phil has a gift of kicking people out of a dressing room, laughing as they go.
Right. Yeah, it's one of those things. It's not an easy life. I mean, I love it. I still, I'm off the road for too long. I start, when I was still living in Tennessee, especially now, I have to drive from Fairview into town, and I've been off the road for a while, and tour buses would start going by, and I was like,
yeah. Rodney says we don't get paid to play, we get paid to travel.
But it's not. I don't think everybody can do it, but you do need to be with people that you want to be with.
And that's part of it. I've never understood. You hear about bands that don't get along and they stay together for the money and the joy of playing, but they don't like each other.
Right.
I suppose like a dysfunctional family,
Yeah.
kind of stuck together. But for me, it's always been the joy of camaraderie, and everyone that I've ever played with, I have this extended family, and it's really been a great life.
Yeah.
I hope to continue.
And then we said traveling on the road, you're in a new town every week or every so many days, and you don't know if the group before you they were assholes. So my job was to go in and kind of, hey, do a few jokes and say, how can I help you? And then breaks the ice. If they, as I said, if they had a bad act before them, it just smooths them over, and it seems to work.
Right.
Bullshit beats bullets.
Yeah.
What kind of shit?
Would you guys like to sing a couple of things?
Going back to the old days.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emmylou Harris, Rodney Crowell, and Albert Lee.
Even though I was born in Outlaw, I had no idea who the Kaufman brothers were until I met Graham. And I love their music. And in fact, Graham and I ended up recording a song for the last record that we did together, second record, and last. This particular song, but Graham had decided to leave it off the record and put it on the next one, but of course there was never another one. But Rodney and Albert and everyone used to do this back in the hot band days. So it started.
A house not a home was a picture Satan painted for a sweet little sister and me. Our daddy would frown while mother was praying. His heart was so hardened that he would not believe.
talk about, go down memory lane.
Love hurts. Love scars. Love wounds and mars any heart not tough nor strong enough to take a lot of pain, take a lot of pain. Love is like a cloud, pulls a lot of rain. Love hurts. Love hurts. I'm young, I know, but even so, I know a thing or two. I've learned from you. I really learned a lot, really learned a lot. Love is like a stove, burns you when it's hot. Love hurts. Love hurts. Some fools think of happiness, blissfulness, togetherness. Some fools fool themselves, I guess, but they're not fooling me. I know it isn't true. No, it isn't true. Love is just a lie, make you lose. Love hurts. Love hurts. Love hurts. Love
Rodney Crowell, Emmylou Harris, Albert Lee. You've been listening to the Stardust Hardcore Tubular Radio on Outlaw Country.